Well, hello and welcome back to yet another long overdue installment of
Rapid Licks.
If you're new here and you like the content, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. Thanks a bunch. Alright guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at an alternate picking finger twister of a phrase. I put this together specifically to focus on my alternate picking and string changes. And yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, this is a pretty tricky little lick to get down, but with enough patience and practice, you too will have this up to a reasonable pace in no time whatsoever. Just before we get started with the actual lick itself, just a couple of housekeeping things to take care of. We're going to be doing everything in good old standard tune, so no surprises there. The scale that I used to build this entire passage is B minor, so as long as you know your B minor scale, this should be pretty straightforward and easy, okay? Alright, so the entire sequence all the way through should look and sound kind of like this. Okay. Alright, so to play this thing, we're obviously going to be doing this in good old B minor. We're going to start off on the B note, right there on the 7th fret of the low E string. And all we're going to do here is start this phrase off with this. Okay, and all that is a grouping of 6 notes, starting with a downstroke on the 7, and we're just going to go 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10. So, and you can see that ends with an upstroke, right, which is good. So we've basically got like that. Now what I want you to do is jump down on your A string and just play right here on the 7th fret of your A string with a downstroke and then with an upstroke onto the 9. Okay, so all together we've got this. And you can see that ended with an upstroke, which is great. What I want you to do now is come back onto your big E string and play the 10 with a downstroke. Okay, so all together up to this point, here's what we have. Okay, and that's kind of a downstroke with a bit of an escape picking feel. Once you've done that, we're going to come back onto the A string and we're going to be playing 7, 9, and 10, but starting this one with an upstroke and you just play those 3. Okay, so just like that, and that ends with an upstroke, okay? So this is the entire phrase, what I just did right here, okay? So basically this is just going to repeat and move through the strings. So this is really the bare bones and the important piece of that, okay? So let's go through that whole thing together slowly. So starting with a downstroke. Just like that. Alright guys, you probably already noticed at this point that we just ended that entire phrase with an upstroke, which is important because the phrase started with a downstroke. And all we're going to do is take that exact style phrasing, sequencing, and just keep moving that up and diagonally so we know the next one has to start with a downstroke. So the first one was this. Okay, so we end on an upstroke right here on the 10th fret. What we're going to do now is repeat the exact same sequence, except we're just going to move up to this position here. So starting now on the A string at the 9th fret, and we're just going to repeat the exact same pattern, but now we're at this section of the scale. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, you with me? Okay, so the whole pattern up to this point should look like this. Okay, and yeah, we just ended that again on an upstroke now, and that of course is on the 12th fret of your D string. So now what we're going to do is, yeah, we're just going to move up to the next position of the scale and repeat the entire pattern again, starting with a downstroke. So now we are up here, starting off on the D string on the 11th fret. And yeah, you got it. You're just running right through this. So, all right, so everything up to this point should look like this. And yep, you already noticed it. We ended that, of course, on an upstroke, so that signifies we are now going to shift and continue on. So now we're going to be starting off on the G string, right there on the 12th fret. And yeah, we're just going to do exactly what we've been doing, double up. Now I will say this is kind of the awkward part of this entire phrase, just because this jump is a bit much, especially when you're playing this at speed. So just do this one really slowly until you get it under your fingers and feeling comfortable, okay? So again, starting off on the 12th fret on the G string. Just like that, and then here's the big jump. I'm using my index here coming up to the B string on the 14th fret, and then doing that like so. Okay? Or you can do it like this too if you want. Whatever feels comfortable. Okay, so the entire sequence up to this point. Okay, so now for this section, I'm going to deviate a little bit from the pattern. I'm not going to shift up like we were doing just because I want to bend into the B note right there, like that. So in order to do that, I'm going to start off this last phrase here, just back on the 14th fret of the B string, and of course it's going to be 14, 15, 17 twice, like that. Coming down onto my high E string, I've got the 14, 15, like so, and then of course it's the same pattern, guys, so not rocket science here. Back onto the 17 of your B string, and then back onto the high E string, and we're just going 14, 15, 17 again. And you can put a bend on if you want to the B, and that ends it. So the whole phrase, played slowly, should look and sound like this. Oh, you guys wonder what I did in the original video, that kind of trilly thing or whatever? That sort of thing, all I'm doing is just coming down the scale here, folks, after the big bend, and picking everything. And then when I get to here, I'm just doing a trill off of the 14 to the 15. And then just kind of walking down the scale again on the B string. That sort of thing, and just, I think I ended probably there, you know, sitting on the 16th fret of my G string or something. And I mean, you can do whatever you want here, really. You can do whatever you want there, whatever feels good. If you want the other little thing, I did the... I mean, you could throw that in too if you like. All I'm doing for that is kind of like a country thing. It's just I'm playing 6th, so I'm starting right here on the 14th fret of my G string, and I'm just kind of hybrid picking right there on the E string on the 14th fret as well. So I got this, and then I'm just going to move chromatically down and move down one more, like so. And then here, this is where things deviate a bit. I'm going to be picking the 11th fret on the G, and then hybrid picking right there on the 10th fret of the high E string. And that's a 6th. But you can also think of it this way. You know, this is obviously in B minor. D major is the relative major, right? So that's the 3rd of D major, and that's a D. So it's actually kind of an implied D major chord. So that's why it sounds nice and resolves, right? Anyway, use it if you want. You don't need to. Again, you can just end on a B or whatever else feels good. Just use your ears, and you'll be just fine. All right, so the whole thing played slowly. All right, and played at a little bit of a quicker pace. All right, guys, the important thing about this obviously is to really focus on your alternate picking and to keep that really precise and clean and clear, and make sure that you're doing string changes as intended. But if for some reason when you're playing this up at speed, you're finding that your picking is inverting, don't freak out. It's not the end of the world. You can still salvage the entire run. Just make sure you switch over to economy picking. I find for me, right here is where sometimes I end up switching into economy pick. I'll do a downstroke here, and then just carry on with another down, like a double down, like that, and now I'm inverted. That's fine. Just means that you need to keep in mind that your picking has become inverted and you're going to need to do double downstrokes to keep on moving through this entire scale pattern, but it is possible. And you know, of course, you don't even need to do this with picking either. The lick itself sounds just fine if you play it all legato. So I mean, experiment, see what works for you, see what sounds good. But the focus is try and do the actual alternate picking thing if you can. It is hard, it is tricky, but it's going to really make you a lot more precise with your actual alternate picking. Anyway, enough of that. All right, well there you go. One alternate picking, finger twisting shred lick thing. Yeah, I designed this specifically because I really wanted to focus on my my 2-note per string alternate picking accuracy with a string change immediately after, and yeah, this really helped. This little lick drove me insane all week. I found that I just kept on reverting to economy picking somewhere in the middle of it, and it was driving me bonkers. I mean, you can always tell, of course, just by the end of each one of these phrases if your pick is in the wrong position. If you don't finish it on an upstroke, go back and do it again. You've made a mistake, kind of thing. But yeah, anyway, this really helped me tighten up a few things with my playing, so maybe it'll help you. Anyway, guys, that's the entire lick. I hope you found this somehow useful or informative. If you did learn anything, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and help this channel grow a little bit. And as per usual, just keep on shredding. We will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.